Well, boys, this truck's going up for sale. Well, it was kind of up for sale, but my father-in-law was trying to sell it. And it's kind of hard to describe what you've done to an engine, or someone's done to an engine, if it wasn't you. So my longtime viewers remember this truck. Probably in about 2015, I bought this truck. It was a one-owner truck. I bought it, fixed every leak, so every seal, all the main seals were changed out. It got a mild head and a mild cam. What I mean by mild, mildly built. She idles just fine, but she has some serious potential. So I'm gonna do my best to give you a walk around and kind of quick rundown. If you're in the market for one of these, it's gonna be really hard to find something like this. If you're new to the channel, I got plenty of trucks. I got too many trucks, and I like my trucks. I like them when they work, and that's what makes me call it proud or whatever, my truck, but it makes me happy knowing that I have a piece of equipment and it's being used instead of sitting around. I am kind of tempted to just park this thing, buy it back from my father-in-law and park it, but it's just going to sit around because it's a two-wheel drive, and I just can't see myself using this thing. I'll be too afraid I'll beat it up or something. This is a very clean truck, so let's walk around and kind of go down the list. So exterior wise, it's OEM paint, OEM trimming. You kind of see the chrome's flaking off, but at least you know it hasn't been screwed around with. Surface rust, nothing I would be concerned of. That's still the factory paint, so it's all surface. If you're bored, you could probably sand it down and easily, just a quick little sand down, and Rust-Oleum paint would do really the trick on this thing. Or just strip it all down. I don't see any real issue. I'd leave it alone as is. As far as the powertrain goes, guys, the block was not messed with. I looked at the honing, the cylinder walls, the pistons, everything looks solid. So I did not do bearings. I didn't do anything on the bottom end. This all this work that I'm talking about was done about $190 on the clock, $190, $195. I just want to let pop in. 253,000 on the clock now. This truck has no paint, has never had any paint work done on it besides a corner. I think it was this corner. Yeah, it was this corner. You can kind of tell the Bondo there. So this, it was rear-ended lightly, and there was a dent here. So my brother-in-law, this was back when I owned it, fixed it. Anyways, it had the OG mirrors that I pulled off, and I put my 99 way back in the day. I started my company hot shodding with the 99. That's where those mirrors came from. I ended up putting towing mirrors on it. And that was a beautiful sunset out here. There's no paint work, as I've mentioned. I'm repeating myself. Let's go to the meat of this deal. Obviously we got Isaac here helping us. Carpet's in phenomenal shape. I don't want to mislead anyone. This isn't a brand new truck, but this is a very well kept truck. Really good shape. I bought it. My wife can't stand that padding. She's like, why don't you just throw it away? I'm like, it needs to stay there. I think this rug dash cover has served this dash well. It's all in one piece. It's a good deal. As you can tell, door panels, this truck is clean for a 96. I did not mention that this is a 96 2500 two-wheel drive Cummins. So we didn't add anything to this vehicle as far as that was never here from the get-go. We just made it better. So this head, essentially what I got is stronger valves, springs, and cam. So when you're towing right about 25, 26 gross, climbing 6% grade, you kind of top out at 950, 960 on the EGTs. Now that's a good flowing head. We put in a heavier radiator, a really nice radiator, a $180 thermostat. As far as cooling, this thing's an overkill. It kind of struggles to stay warm in the winter. Like any 12 valve naturally struggled, but this one struggles a little more. Just the EGT stay a little cooler, cooling's a little heavier. So in the winter we always blocked it off. The turbo is a OEM reman turbo. I have a trusted shop around here that I don't even know exactly what they did with this turbo. I pulled the turbo off, I pulled the injectors off. They said they freshened up the injectors, but I can't recall what they did with the turbo. I know it was inspected, it's a solid turbo. When I was building this thing, I just flat out wasn't thinking what I was building it for, because this engine, you could, the way it turned out, because I also did the pump. There's not just springs and governors. There's more to this pump. Obviously, it's balanced and all that. I think it has bigger. Can't remember what they did bigger, but it flows a little better. So there's pump work on this thing as well. In my opinion, a perfect truck. Like if I was an old school kind of guy, I'll take probably a 06. Shoot, probably from a 99 to up till nearly 2012 Ford crew cab. I would put a 6-speed manual, and a V5600 or their ZF6, and put this engine in and turn it up. This engine's completely turned down just for the sake of the transmission. This thing has a fresh tranny in it, and it's a mildly built. No, I'm not saying mildly built. It's legitimately mildly built. Quite a few billet parts, heavier towing clutches. I think it was about a $5,000 bill. There's a receipt for that as well, and that's literally done in the last 5,000 miles. It's safe to say 2,000 miles, but I'll say 5,000 to be safe. Fires right up. We still kept the, we kept the grid heater in here, so in the winter you're not gonna have an issue firing this thing up. She's a little cold, but hardcore winter, you definitely still have a heater and it fires right up. Wish it would be something crazy, but I can't. Built this truck. Once I was done building it, I realized the truck was just too light for what it was capable of. Absolutely loved it. It had an exhaust brake on it. That has been removed from it. As far as front end, all the bushings, ball joints, everything on the front end is rebuilt, replaced. I told you about the tranny. Drive shaft was dropped and freshened up. The drive shaft's original, but the U-joints are fresh. And the rear end, I never messed the rear end. It was just original rear end. So yeah, guys, take it for what it is. I honestly think it's about a $16,000, $17,000 truck, to be fair with the buyer and the seller. As I said, I own this truck. My father-in-law kept bugging me about it, so I sold it to him. I told him, you can't sell it but to me, and now he's like, dude, I want to sell it. I'm like, dude, I should buy it back. That would be the right thing to do. I should buy this truck back. And I told him, here, I'll give you the money, give me the truck. He's like, no, if you don't need this truck, just put it up for sale if you don't mind for me. So when people ask questions about it, you can answer it versus me. He's like, I always got to call you and ask you questions. And the seller feels that. He knows that, like my father-in-law that can't answer his questions. So anyways, that's why this video was made, to put it up for sale. Once this video goes live, I will put it up on Facebook, Craigslist, and see what we get for it. Get any bites. It's a 12 valve. It's a clean second gen. You guys know what's happening with the prices. They're not going anywhere near down or attempting to go down. They'll either be a quicker or slower, but they're all going uphill because it's so clean. I wonder what's going on here. This wire. Well, shoot. An important part of this video is to show you how the engine runs. So EGTs and boost. Let's fire her up. I don't know how it's coming through on the video, but man, it sounds good and clean. This is a proper diesel in my world. Good old mechanical engine. when I was talking about, you know, pulling this engine out in a perfect world, putting it in a Ford, I would be, if it was me, I'd be looking for a 450, because what this engine could do and what I was able to do with it going through Columbia Passes and the Homey Pass. Yeah, I had one of those trailers behind me, a tandem dual trailer with 13,000 pounds of steel. I set the cruise at 65 on flat, 65 uphill. It just didn't give a flying fart. Just didn't care. It just did its thing. I have it capped at 25 psi. Did I say 25? 35 psi. That's what I capped it off. There's a boost regulator, mechanical one, spring loaded. So right about 34, 35. She don't build no more boost because I backed her off. Obviously the fuel plays backed off all the way, so preserving. With everything being backed off, the way she pulls now is you don't need anything more with this truck. Plenty of power to light up these tires, and you know. So without a real load on this truck, there's no reason to advance anything on it, because she runs real well, good fuel efficiency, and yeah. I was supposed to get a bed line. I let a buddy borrow it like years ago. I don't know what he did. He pushed that wall in. And when I asked him, hey, did anything happen? No. I don't know if he didn't realize it or he just didn't want to own up to it. No, not because of that case. I called him a buddy, but he's really not a buddy. Just a guy I know. Anyways, guys, as always, may y'all have a mighty fun day. May God bless you, and let me know what question I can answer on this truck. I have a feeling it's probably not going to be for sale for long, because they're so rare, being so clean and original, you know. Yeah, it has engine work. Yeah, there's been 60,000 miles put on it, 55, 60,000 miles. That's a statement of its own that this thing's been done right. Brakes, rotors, ball joints, obviously everything's been taken care of. I did in the rear axle put a new drum on it, you know, on the brake drum, but I also upgraded the rear brake pistons to a 1-ton from a dually. So this thing really stops. I know it was kind of sketchy when I hooked up a gooseneck to it. I mean, yeah, trailer brakes work, but I needed the truck to have more brakes, and that's what I ended up doing, putting bigger cylinders on the brake pads, and that really did the trick for me. All right, boys, as always, have a good one, and the Lord bless you. Bye.